Hello class. So in the previous class, what we did is we saw what operations we can perform on a list. So in this class also we will continue with list, that what functions or what operations we can do with list. So before that, I will like to show something else to you. So we will start with loops first. That is, if I ask you, let me just remove this. This is a list that we use in the previous class, so we will continue with this example in this class as well. So let me just remove this for this example. Say I asked you to print your name 10 times. So generally what you will do is, what you have learned till yet, on that basis what you will do is you will take a input. Say name. I am taking name as an input from the user. So yes, input, enter your name, yes, and close. Then okay, like I asked you to print your name 5 times. Okay, 5 or 10, whatever it is. So if I ask you to print your name 5 times, what you will do is you will simply write this print statement 5 times, or the number of times you will like to print your name. So yeah, we will do this. I printed it for 4 times. So let me just execute this program and let's see what happens. Okay. In Python आपको बहुत ज़्यादा क्लियर होना पड़ता है इंडेंट्स को लेके. अगर आपकी एक भी इंडेंटेशन प्लस और माइनस होगी तो Python will give error. Okay. See what happened is it is asking your name. Enter your names. Suppose I'm printing Python lab. Okay. So it printed Python lab 4 times because I gave the print statement 4 times. Let me show you that also. So yeah, I here gave the print statement 4 times, but like it's too costly. You have to write the print statement every time. You have to write printer name. You are printing the same statement, but you have to give the print statement again and again. So what you can do here is simply you can use a loop here. That is, we can use for loop. We have while loop as well, but we will start with for loop. So in for loop, what you do is for, let me say my list. Okay, let's name. Even in for loop, you can print your name in different ways. So let me say I will start with for I. I'm taking some temporary variable I. For I in range. I will tell you what is this range also. Okay. How many times you have to print your name? Say four times or 5 times. Say 4 times you have to print your name. So I will say 1, 5. What this range does is this range includes number from 1 to n-1. That is, this will include number from 1 to 4. If I want to print my name 4 times, I will simply give a range of 1 to 5. So this will exclude 5 while executing and will run for 4 times only. So let me run this as well. Print name. Let's check this out. See, in just 2 statements, I simply got my name printed 4 times. Okay. This is the same statement that we had in our previous example, but here what we did is we didn't use a print statement for several times. We simply replaced it by for loop, and this range function tells us that for how many times we have to print the statement or execute the loop. Okay, so in this case, this will execute the loop for 5 times. Basically, it will go for the value of 5 will become 1 and it will print the name. Again, it will go up there and increment by 1. So up till 5, this will happen, and as soon as the value of I becomes 5, this loop will get exit from this statement. Okay, fine. Now, what I was telling you was simply say I want to make a list of numbers using this range function. How I can do that? Say numbers. I want to print a list of numbers. Okay. Because I want my numbers to be a list, that is the data type of number should be a list. Therefore, I'm defining it here explicitly. So list, and list in the range of 1, 6. Okay. So what will happen here? I'm declaring a variable here which is of a list data type and has values from 1 to 5, not 6. It will exclude 6. It is values from 1 to 5. Okay. So let's print numbers and see what happens. Print numbers. See, we printed the numbers variable which is values from 1 to 5. It excluded 6. If I want to include 6, then I have to change this value by 7. Like it prints number or it includes number till n-1. So yeah, now it includes 6 and excludes 7 here. Okay, fine. Okay, let's start with another example. So I guess the concept of loop is a little bit clear to you. So we will start with for loop again. Yeah. So yeah, this is the example that we were using in the previous class. What if you want to print all the values of this list bicycles? Here you have different methods of printing the list. What first method is simply type print several times and the values of bicycles with different index using different indexes. So bicycle of 1, simple using indexing. Similarly, print bicycle of 2, and so on till the last value. So let's just print this. Okay, it says bicycle is not defined. Okay, so what was the name that we defined previously? Bicycles. Okay, it's bicycles. Fine. So it simply printed the two values that we printed. We here give print statement for two values, the 0th index value and the first index value. So that is track and readline. So that's what we got here, right? Here, track and readline. So if I want to print all the values in the list, I have to give this print statement for all the values by giving the indexes. Okay. So this will get hectic or costly if the values are in numbers. Okay, so what we can do here is we can use for loop, as I told you just 5 minutes before. So what you can do here is simply print for, I'm taking a variable bicycle. See, bicycle and bicycles both are different variable names because it does not include s at the end. that includes s. So both are different variables, totally different variables. What you can do is, for bicycle in bicycles, for bicycle in bicycles, what I have to do is print bicycle. Let's just do this. See what happened. In just two statements, it printed all the values that are included in the list bicycles. Fine? Yes. So what does this mean? For bicycle, bicycle is a temporary variable which stores the value of bicycles indexes one by one and prints here. So for bicycle, it will first pick the first index value in store in bicycle and we will print it here. Then it will go up here and the bicycle's index will increment by 1. So the first index value red line will be stored in this variable, temporary variable, and that we will print here. So this loop will go till this bicycles become empty. Okay, till the last value of this bicycles list. Okay, when we can do this? You can do this if you know how many items do you have, how many values do you have in the list, and if you don't know how many values do you have in the list. But there is one more way. What you can do is, let me say my temporary variable is, if you know the number of values in your list, you can simply say for I know the number of values in my list is 4. So I'm just giving a range of 0 to 4. Either I give range from 0 to 4 or 1 to 5, it doesn't matter. The loop will go for 4 times. It will execute for 4 times. That is 0, 1, 2, 3. It will not get executed for fourth number, fourth range. It will simply will be executed for 0 to third values. Okay, if I give the values from 1 to 5th, what will happen? It will be executed for 4 times, that is from 1, 2, 3, 4, and will not be executed for the 5th time. It will simply get exit of the loop. So here I am just giving for I in range 0 to 4, print bicycles of I. I'm simply printing it with the help of index. Let me just see what happens. See, with the help of index also, I can print the values of the list. But this can happen only if you know the number of values that you have in the list or the number of values that you want to print. The first values or several values. Okay. Fine. So we now know how to use a for loop to print all the values in the list. You can do that in different ways, basically in two ways using for loop. We saw how to use a range function. We saw using a range function to make a list of numbers. Now we will see a few more examples. Like, let me just say, let me delete this example. Let me just save this if I will need this in future. Okay, I have now a list. I'm just creating an empty list squares, which is an empty list here. Now for value, I'm taking a temporary variable value in range. Let me say I want to print square values of numbers from 1 to 10. Then what I have to do is value into 2 squares dot append square. and simply in the end print squares. So what is happening here is I am simply printing the square values from the numbers 1 to 10. How this is happening is I am first initializing an empty list squares. It has no value, it is empty. Then we are simply calculating squares from numbers 0 to 10. For that we have taken the range function, which has its start index as 1 and end index as 11. That means it will exclude the number 11. Okay, so temporary variable value. So what is happening here is we have in this temporary variable values from 1 to 10, but one by one, not all together. So firstly we have in this value a value of 1, integer 1. The integer 1 is stored in this value variable. So here square is equals to value double star. What does this double star means? This works as an exponential function. So basically this will simply do the square of this function. Exponential means value to the power 2. So we are calculating here the square of this value. So value to the power 2, that is 1 to the power 2 is 1. So square of 1 is 1. So we stored squares.append. I have told you this in the previous class that what this append function does, this simply append this value, whatever this value, at the end of this list. So right now our list is empty. What it will do is it will append this value. So what value do we have right now? 1. 1 to the power 2 is 1. So 1 will be appended in this list. So at the 0th index we have 1 here. Next we won't come to this print now directly. We will jump to this range function. The range function will be incremented by 1. The value that will be stored in this value variable, temporary variable, will be 2. Then we will come here. Square is equals to 2 to the power 2. That is 4. So we will append that 4 in this list after 1. So at the first index we will have 4. Similarly, this will go up again. The value that will be stored in this value temporary variable will be 3. 3 to the power 2, that is 9, will be stored in this variable square. Then this value of square will be appended in this squares list, and this will go on till the value becomes 10, and then even for the 10th value this will be calculated at 10 to the power 2. Then this is 100. Then this 100th value will be appended to this squares list. When this value become 11, this will get exit of this loop, that is it will come to this print statement and our squares list will be printed. Let's print this list as well. Okay, so I have misprinted something. Let's check what's that. Okay, this is misprinted. Again it says, okay, again it's misprinted here. See what happened here. Let me just show you this. 1 second. See, we got the list of all the squares ranging from 1 to 10. That is 149 till up till 100. Okay, fine. Okay, so we have a list comprehensions here. That is, we here printed squares using this whole statement. For printing squares or for implementing any program you can use list comprehensions. What a list comprehension is, it allows you to generate the same list in just one line of code. It combines the for loop and the creation of new elements into one line and automatically appends each new element. So let me show you the example first. For this square example, let's see this square example first, how this list comprehensions work. So I have a squares which is an empty list. So what I will do is squares is equals to, let me just delete this statement or just simply comment out this statement. Okay. So what am I doing here is value, some temporary variable that I have already picked up into 2. I am simply I'm doing multiplication, or I am just simply taking exponential of this value by 2 for value in range. What was our range in the previous example? It was 1 to 11. So 1 to 11. Okay. And then print squares here. What we are doing here is we have taken a temporary variable and we are doing we are storing this value into this squares for value in range 1 to 10. For all the values in range 1 to 11, that is for the values ranging from 1 to 10, we are calculating this thing and storing into this squares. This automatically appends all the values at the end of the list. So even in this case, we will get the same result that we got in the previous example. See, you can see it there, right? Okay. See this, it's here. Okay. Okay. Now simple statistics with a list of numbers. What statistics that we can play here with a list of numbers. Okay. Let me say I do have a list of numbers. I'm saying suppose it's digits. It's a list and I have stored numbers from 1 to 9. Okay, 5, 4, any number that I can store, and 0. Fine. So if I want to find out the minimum of this list, I don't need to create loops and find the minimum element. I can simply use this min function on this list digits and I can simply print it. I am simply printing it here directly, not taking any variable. You can take variable if you want. I'm simply printing this min of digits. What it will do is see, it printed 0 because the minimum value in this list is 0. What if I want to print the max element in this list? I have to simply remove this min and write max. I'm doing that here, max. Okay. See, firstly, I check for the minimum element. So the minimum element is 0, and then I check for the maximum element, that is 9 in this list. Okay. What if I want to print the sum of this list? Sum of all the integers that I have in this list. So print, I have to simply take the sum of digits. These are predefined functions that I'm calling. Okay. See, minimum element, maximum element, and the sum. Okay, fine. Let's move forward. Okay, working with a part of list. Okay, what if you don't want to work with this whole list? You simply want to work with these three elements or these four elements. You don't want to work with this list. There comes the concept of slicing of a list. So what is a slice? Basically, slice is a specific group of items in a list. That is, I can call this a slice 267. This is a group of items in a list, so I can call this as a slice of this list. So how can I slice a list? Let's see. Okay, let's say I have a list of players which has few names: Charles, Martina. Because these are strings, I have to put them into quotes. Michael, another name Florence, and Ellie. Okay, I think I should remove this name Ellie because it's making my list too long. Okay, now this is visible on the screen. Okay, now I have to take a slice of this list. I want to print the first three names of this list. So what I will do is, I know the indexes of the, obviously if I want to print the first three players of the list, I have to take indexes from 0 to 2, not 3, 0 to 2, 0 first and second. Okay, now print players. But because I have to slice this list, I have to give that index from starting from which index to which index I have to slice this list. Okay. So I want to slice it from the 0th index till the second index. So I will give it 0 to 3. Same concept as range. It will exclude the number 3 index 3 here. Okay, fine. It will include 0th index, first index, and the second index only. It will exclude this index. See, it printed Charles, Martina, and Michael. Charles, Martina, and Michael. Okay. So this is slicing of the list. Okay. Next, what if I want to slice in between the list? So simply what I will do is, I will give the index from where I want to slice this list. I will give this 1 to 3. That is the first index, and the second index I want to get printed. I don't want to get printed the 0th index and the 4th index or any other index except first and second index. Okay, let's run this. See, the first index was Martina and the second was Michael, so both are printed here. Okay, what if I know that I want to print from starting till the index 3rd? Let me add a name as well so that we can do better here. Okay, I know that I want to print a list from the starting but till the 4th index. So I don't need to mention this slice here, this starting index here. Basically, I can mention the ending index. That is, if I want to include the values from the 0th index till the 4th index, I have to mention here 5 only. Okay, I can keep it blank so the Python will automatically understand by default that this is starting from the 0th index. We can run this and we can check. See, Charles, Martina, Michael, Florence, Ellie. What happened is I have printed till the fourth index, not the fifth index, fourth index. So we know that in the list, in Python list index starts from 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 values are getting printed here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 values on here. So all the 5 values are getting printed. Let me say 0, 2, 2. Let's see now what happens. See, Charles and Martina. First two values are getting printed. Okay. Now what if I know कि मुझे जो है till the end list print करनी है, लेकिन from the middle print करनी है, not from the start. So I have to mention the starting index here. Suppose I want to print the values from the second index, so I'm giving 2, and till the end I want to print all the values, so I'm not giving the slice value here. I don't need to mention the index here because I know by default it will print all the values till the end. So see, Michael, Florence, Ellie. Michael, Florence, Ellie. So index second, third and fourth, all the values till the end from the second index are getting printed. Okay. One more thing. What if I want to print the values from the -3 index? Okay. Now, if I want to print the values, I know the index from the negative version. So what is -3 index? I have told you in this previous class. So this is -1, -2, -3. So from -3 till the end. In the previous example, I just told you that if you are keeping this slice blank, keeping this index blank, so Python will automatically by default print all the values till the end. But from where? From the index -3. What is index -3? That is this Michael. So -3, -2, -1. It will print all the values till the end. So let's check this example. See, Michael, Florence, Ellie. The same that we did in the last example. Okay. Fine. Now, looping through a slice. How can we loop through a slice? Let's see that also. So I want to print the list of my players. Print. Here are the first 3 players on the list. Okay. Simply a print statement for what I want is I want to print players, but the first 3 players on the list. So I will take a temporary variable first, player, in players. Abhi, I just told you that if I have to take the first 3 values from the list, I have to pick the first 3 values from the list. What I can do is I can keep this first index as blank, first slice as blank. So I just kept the first slice as blank. So for this ending slice, what I will do is I will give this third. So it will print the values from 0, 1, 2. Okay. So print from, we are printing the player's name. So player, that is stored in this player variable. So player, and we want to print the name in title case. So player dot title. We did this in the last class about this title method. So we are using it here. Okay. See what happened. Here are the first three players on the list: Charles, Martina, and Michael. Okay. So this is how we can use the for loop in list slicing also. Okay. Let's check for the next. Okay. Sorting a list permanently. Let's do this then. Okay, I want to sort a list. How can I do that? Let's say I want to sort this list only. So I will simply call the sort method. Players dot sort. So run this and see what happens. Okay, I haven't printed that. So let me just print players. Okay, let's check now. See, it got sorted from alphabets A to Z in the increasing order. So C, E, F, M. We have two M's, so M A first, then M I. So basically, sort function sorted a list from A to Z. Okay, in increasing manner. Also, this sort function, this sort method changes the order of the list permanently. We saw that just now that I called the sort method over this players list and then I printed this players list, the order was totally changed. So this method changes the order of the list permanently. So okay, now let's do the sorting in reverse order. If I want to sort the list in reverse order, that is from Z to A manner, then what I have to do is I have to simply give reverse is equals to true here. That is, I want to print my list in reverse order. So see, now the list has been printed in the reverse order from Z to A. Okay. Now what if I want to maintain the order of my list? I don't want to change the actual order of the list. This sort function is changing the order, but I don't want to change the order of my list. And what I have to do is, let's see what we can do. I'm just knowing this function from here. Okay. Print original list because this is a statement I have to give it into quotes. Original list, and I'm printing this list players here. Then let's change the list. Print sorted list sorted cars. Okay. So let's print this. Sorry, it's not cars, it's players. Okay, see what happened is original list was this and sorted list is this. Now if I again print the list, let me check what if I can print the list. What will happen? Print players. Okay, let's check this thing also. See, this was the original list. This was the sorted list on which I call the sorted function. And then again, I printed the list, which is the original list. See, so this function does not change the order of the list. If you do not want to change the order of your list, you want to maintain that order, you can call this function. If you want to change the order, you can call the sort function, not the sorted one. Okay. So yes, printing a list in reverse order. How can I do that? Simply, what I can do is I can call players dot reverse. I can call the reverse function here, and then I can print players. See, it printed in the list in the reverse order. So this was the original list that we got printed in the previous example. So in this example, we printed this list in reverse order. See, Ellie, Florence, Michael, Martin, and Charles. Okay. So basically, this reverse function does not sort backward alphabetically. It simply reverses the order of the list permanently. Okay. Okay. Yes, one more thing. If I want to find the length of the list, then what I have to do is simply call the length function. I will print. I'm calling it in the print statement itself. Length of players. What is the length of my list? Okay. 5. Okay. Fine. I hope that you are getting what I'm teaching here. Okay. One more thing that's left is copying the list. I guess I wrote it somewhere, but it got missed from here. Okay. So another thing is copying a list. How we can copy a list? Let's do that. I have a list called players. I want to copy this into another list. So let me say my players and friends players. So yeah, I want to copy my players list to my friends players list. So simply I have to do is my players, and because I want to completely copy my list, I will give slicing as like this. It will complete the whole list to the friends players list. Okay. So yes, print statement, print my players list. Print my players, and then print my friends list. I'm using the slash n to print this statement into a new line. So for inserting a new line, we use this statement slash n. Okay. If I want to give a tab space, then I have to simply give this slash t. Let me give it that here, slash t. Okay, slash n, my friends players. Print. Let's print this. See, my list was this, and I simply copied my list to my friends players list, and so now my friends players list is same as my list. So this is how we can copy a list to another list. Okay, so that's all for today. We will start with tuples in the next class.